Your turn?
Yeah, I will do the one. Who's prized? It's Artisaria again. Alright, so my list has not significantly changed since last time. We have made one thing that is different, which is Lumi Noel, the new grade 2 that was added into the deck. So she says when she's placed on rearguard circle, choose a grade 3 or greater Artisaria from your hand and reveal it. If you reveal a card or you're at grade 3 with Artisaria, then you can Energy Blast 2, call a Shadow Army token to rearguard circle, and it cannot attack until end of turn. So you call a Shadow Army, it becomes a booster. And then when it's put on the guard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Artisaria, retire one or more up to 2 Shadow Army tokens, and it gets plus 10k shield for each one you retired. So this card does a lot for the strategy. Artisaria is a very slow deck. It's one that ramps up the longer the game goes on, so you need ways to make the game go on.
Bushiro doesn't like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad for Bushiro.
You know, actually, I changed the trigger ratio since last time. Oh well. Anyways, nothing else about this has changed since the last time I did a deck profile about this. So obviously, you're still running the same ride line because they all find you the sound systems. So usually, like if you're going first, you just grab a Shout and Shadow, and then you grab Regaromania. If you're going second, it kind of depends on what you're playing against. I feel like you against decks that can clear their own boards, you still probably want to grab a Megaromania, just so your opponent will actually like do that. Although it might be worth bluffing. Like, who knows? And then, of course, we have Artisaria herself. I have the playset of Frame Rares. We're still playing 4 copies of the Pride Cycler, so that gets you the Quick Shield ticket. We're playing 2 copies of Lufer, so I'm playing this because she gets 5k extra power when you have a sound system, so she makes better numbers early on. And then the extra 5k shield does help. I found it does come up a decent amount. You know, this is not a super common inclusion in the deck, but I like it. Usually what people play instead is just 4 copies of Balefur, so on play you soul charge 1, then you can counterblast 1 to draw a card, and then on attack if you have a card with the same name as your Vanguard and your soul, she gets 5k. 2 copies of Franset. You know, there is a world where you cut the Lufers for more copies of Franset, because she can bounce Lumi Noel, especially if you played Lumi Noel early, but you know, she's the one that, like, on attack, if you have 3 or more different names, she gets 5k, and then 4 or more at the end of the battle, you can bounce something. We're playing 4 Yuikas, because Yuika bounces stuff back. So you can use it to bounce back a Pride Cycler, you can use it to bounce back a Lumi Noel, Veil. Basically, all of your cards benefit from being bounced back, you know, being able to protect your front row. And, like, 2 of them have on-play abilities that you can use again, and also, you just kind of want Lumi Noel in your hand for the shield value. You know, same with Lufer. Lufer also has the ability when she's either retired from rearguard circle or returned to the hand, you can counterblast 1, draw a card. 1 copy of the Jewel Beast, because shield. I'm only playing 6 sound systems, so I'm doing a 3-3 split. You know, I'm not playing Blitz orders just because I feel like they're awkward when you have the Pride Cyclers as well, and like Sanctitude. So you have to do this weird song and dance like, okay, you gotta play the shield ticket first, because it lets you play a second order for the turn. Then you would have to use your Blitz order, and then you have to hope you don't need to use the Sanctitude if you draw it. So I'm not fond of Blitz orders in the deck. I know some other lists that have topped have used Blitz orders. And then trigger lineup. I actually changed the trigger lineup since the last time I did this, so I forgot to do that here. You know, where this one was like 7 crit, 4 fronts. The fronts have 20k shields. Once again, you're just trying to stall the game out. I did switch to playing 5 fronts, so I went with 3 of the 20k and then 2 of the soul fronts and playing 6 crits. I forgot to change it here. Playing the Lyrical OT because it gives 10k to your board. Honestly, you probably could get away with any other over trigger as well. The purple one's good, healing is nice and helps you stall out the game. I don't think you need the blue OT necessarily, like, it's usable, but it's not, like, amazing. The red OT could be good, especially, like, later in the game, your Shadow Army tokens can get pretty big, so just being able to, like, swing in twice is not too bad. And then, of course, 4 heals. And then, you know, PGs, Sanctitude, yada yada yada.
The Bermuda, the lyrical OT is like reasonably good too, as far as everybody's in the.
It's something you want to see like early.
Yes. Well, because then it puts on pressure the rest of the game.
Yeah.
See also Dark States.
Like, yeah, but a lot of Dark States decks just opt to drop theirs. A lot of Lyrical decks also don't play the Lyrical OT, to be honest.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, a lot of decks just, like... Because the decks in Dark States that already have Vanguard pressure don't need another 10k in a crit. Like, they usually just already have something, like, equivalent. Like,
Right.
maybe, like, no, Fafronil gets a crit. That's, like, his gimmick. Yeah, no, I can't think, like, maybe Omida Grugio, because, like, that's a restander, so maybe that is the deck that would appreciate the 10k in a crit all the time, because then your Vanguard pressure is stronger, but yeah. Like, I think this might be the only deck right now where I feel like the Lyrical OT is justified, just because your early numbers in this deck are really small. Especially, like, turn 3. I have frequently found myself using Artisaria's effect to put a token in the back row just to get, like, bigger numbers instead of going for 4 attacks. Especially if my opponent gets a damage trigger, too. That's really annoying. But yeah, Artisaria I don't think has fundamentally changed that much. It is still a deck that aims to kill, like, turn 6. You know, you're just trying to control the board with Mega Romania, and then eventually you get to a point where you just keep swarming the field with tokens, and, you know, when you're at that, like, turn 6, no cards in hand, you know, 5 attacks that are all, like, 40k plus is really hard to deal with.
Yes. Because most decks aren't like, alright, my hands get bigger and bigger. No, like, by that point, it's the, it's like the trope in anime where, like, they're all out of, like, weapons, or all of their armor is broken, but they're just, like, angrily attacking each other with, like, whatever they got. Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, I think, like, Artisaria, once you get to, like, turn 6, probably just always wins. Like, if the game went long enough for Artisaria to, like, get that kill turn, then you're just, like, probably not surviving. Especially because Artisaria also gives power to the front row, so when she attacks, she gives 5k for every 2 sound systems, so turn 6 you have 4, it's like 10k to the front row. And
Plus
if you
Persona
still
Ride,
manage to Persona Ride, you know, imagine drawing Persona Rides, then it's just like, okay, cool, so I just made, like, a 50, 60k call. They come out at 30, you have 20k, yeah, you just make a 50k call.
Oh, potatoes.
And Artisaria has a crit. The crit has never mattered. My opponents always have the PG for it.
Gotcha.
Even when I feel like they shouldn't have a PG for it, they somehow have a PG for it.
Rude.
Your opponent is always, like, completely prepared and also the biggest dummy in the universe at the same time.
Yeah.
Did the new support really help your build a lot, or?
I mean, Luminel is crazy. It's like early gaming. The big thing though is that it's a 25k shield.
Right.
And also, like, there are times where I look at the tokens on my board and I'm like, God, I wish I could do something with these. So, you know, trading the tokens in for the extra shield value is actually just really good. Again, it's one card. It doesn't completely revolutionize the deck. Honestly, like, I could probably use some countercharge. Frequently, because of the way Artisaria wants to play, I will just try to keep myself at lower damage, just take, like, 1 damage at a time, but that also means I don't have as much counterblast to draw with. Alright, that's why I play the Caliburn. Although every time I have Caliburn, I end up in a position where I just need the draw 2.
That's always frustrating when you're like, I need the soul, I need the countercharge, but I have 1 card in hand.
Yeah. Or, like, or, you know, you can brick on sound systems. I don't